أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. I want to start us off today by acknowledging country, and I want to talk about why I'm acknowledging country. We are on Darug land, and there are two really fantastic and alhamdulillah very easy ways to start events like this on a note of respect. And one is, as Sheikh Yunus has already done, with a recitation from the Quran. And the second way that I like to start these events is with an acknowledgement of country, because you set your intention. And we know in Islam, and also as educators and as students, that intention is very important. When we think about why we enter the rooms we enter, and what we do in those rooms when we're there. So our intention today, hopefully, is to celebrate 13 of the most fantastic young writers I've been lucky enough to get to meet this year. 5 of them are with us today. We sat them down on very, very fancy chairs so you can all stare at them. And the reason why we're here is to celebrate short pieces of writing that they published into an anthology. And you are here in the audience with a whole host of different intentions. Some of you are here because you are students yourselves, and you were bullied into being here, maybe by your teachers, and you don't know hugely what's going on. But to clear the air so you understand what our intention is it's about storytelling and creative writing. My name is Bilal, and I work at the Story Factory, which is this organization. And lots of you are here because either I've invited you to come along, or Brother Mustafa, who all of you should know if you don't already know him, who's just sitting at the back trying to hide, has invited you along. And our intention today is I'm going to give a very, very short speech, inshallah, to give some context about what this book is, who wrote it, and why it's important. And then I would love for some of our young writers to share some of their work. I'm a big believer in not forcing anyone to share their work if they don't feel comfortable, because sometimes, although we have strong voices, maybe we're not ready to share them quite yet. But I'm sure you can all be a respectful and loving and kind audience and be ready to hear from them very, very soon. Before that, I would love to, in a moment, welcome Mr. Riaz to the stage to just give a quick welcome to everyone, to say how he's feeling about having us all here. I like putting teachers on the spot the same way that we put our students on the spot. So if you don't mind giving us a little bit of a welcome, and then you can pass back to me, I'll do a little bit more of a speech and we can hear from the most important people, the students. Please give him a round of applause as he comes to the stage.
The chairman of the school board, Mr. Shahzad Idris, and our writers who are sitting right in front of us. You guys all need a special recognition, special acknowledgement. The invited guests, distinguished guests, parents, students, staff, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And a very good, still a morning, I guess. Yes, it is. And a very good morning to you all. Now, I came to know about that these young writers are doing some work, and their work, inshallah, is going to be published, and there are some work going behind it, is when Brother Mustafa, as Brother Bilal has mentioned, made a contact with me and said, Riaz, as the principal of the school, we would like you to see if you can provide us a venue where our students can come and launch their book maybe. And that's the first time I came to know, and I wouldn't, indulge too much into telling about it. And I was very elated to be, involved with them towards the right at the end. And, I tried a little bit of things from my end, whatever I could, to make this possible with Brother Bilal and Brother Mustafa. And from the bottom of our heart, on behalf of the school board and on behalf of AICS, we welcome you all for today's event, and inshallah for the rest of the program, Brother Bilal will take you through to the journey of the purpose behind it. Once again, welcome.
As Ali, the principal of AICS, for that really, really warm welcome. I'm going to try not to talk too much, where if any of you know me at all, you know that I love the sound of my own voice, so it's a very, very difficult thing. But the reason why I'm going to try not to talk too much is because there are more important people to hear from today. I did want to take a second to give an extra special welcome, although I know that she'll hate for me to do this. Adwa Al-Mazri, thank you so much for coming along. It's really fantastic to get to share a space with fellow writers, especially really fantastic established Australian authors, and you dedicating your time to be here to share with these young women is extremely special. So girls, if you haven't had a chance to chat to Adwa yet, talk to her. She's pretty great. She's also donated 4 copies of her book, Tea with Adwa, to the AICS school, to the library. So if you want to read her book, go to the library and say, can I have all 4 copies, please? Because I want to read it 4 times. Cool? Sweet. The Story Factory runs creative writing programs for young people 7 years old all the way up to 17. But that definition is kind of broadening recently because we understand that at all ages, writing is important. It is a part of our deen, the opportunity and the importance of being able to tell your story and tell your story well. And it's part of what makes me so excited about the program I got to run in Mustafa, his garage, his backyard. Essentially what happened is he contacted the Story Factory, interested in seeing whether or not any of our facilitators could help run a short writing program with initially just his daughters, Naveen and Mariam, so that we could support them to help extend the work they were already doing. But obviously the local families and family friends heard about what we were doing and came along and were in those workshops. I'm giving you a very abridged, so a very short version of how this program came about, because I know everyone in this room understands that to have success, not just in our community, but as a writer and as a person, lots of different people need to show you love, attention, and care. And that happened to make this program possible. Lots of people had to dedicate their time to give us the opportunity to hang out in a garage and sit down and write stories. And my job was really easy. For 8 weeks, I sat with these beautiful young writers and 7 others who couldn't make it today, and I listened to their fantastic story ideas. I gave them examples of current Australian writers who are publishing work, and we used those as mentors to learn from to create our own writing. And the book, Inside Our Thoughts, is the culmination of all that work. It's an anthology of short stories written entirely by high school students, and it is now out in the world. This is the official book launch, and I'm so excited to get to launch this book. In a moment, we're going to hear from the girls. That's just their first pages of their writing, so you can listen to them read some of their work. They're not going to read the whole stories because obviously if you want to read it all, you need to get the book. I wanted to give an extra special thank you to Mustafa and Kamrun, his wife, and your entire family for producing this book, for turning it into a reality. The Story Factory runs programs like this. My intention was just to come in for 6 or 7 weeks, create a small pamphlet, like a chapbook collection, and that was it. But Mustafa went, what if we make it really big and fantastic? And then he did everything that was necessary to make that happen. So thank you so much for making sure that we could properly celebrate them. A round of applause for Mustafa, please. We hopefully want to have books like this in everyone's home, written by fantastic young writers like this for reasons that I'm sure you know why that's important. And today is an opportunity to celebrate a success, a step towards that goal. It's a part of the journey, and I'm really, really excited to share it all with you. So you're going to talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I'm going to check in with my amazing students, so I'm not putting anyone on the spot, and I'm going to welcome our first writer to the stage in a second. Is that okay? Turn to the person next to you, make a new friend, and then I'll chat to my students. Thanks, guys. I think one of the things that I'm struck by in listening to Mariam's reading is the jump between thinking of our young writers, our Year 6 and Grade 7 students, and how when you nurture a really fantastic voice like that, the way you hear the strength come through as they get older and as they get wiser and as they gain this wisdom and the ability to share that wisdom on stage. And it is important for all of us to celebrate young voices so that young voices can be celebrated and heard, so that older voices in our community can be heard as well. That concludes the readings for today. And the thing I want to say is that when you are a writer, readings are the most terrifying part. It's like staring at a blank page and also reading your work. Those are probably the two scariest things. So even if you got to the point where you can publish your work, it is a huge achievement. And mashallah, I'm so proud of you. I know I say this all the time. I'm like that awkward uncle that can't stop saying it, but I am so proud of you. And I can't wait to see what you publish next. I'm so sure you're going to be able to share more of your work soon. There is, for you amazing girls, if you haven't had a chance to meet Muna, who's just sitting in the front row here from Isra Academy, she's running a Muslim Writers Festival in February at the beginning of next year. And Muna, if you're like, oh, I wish I had like more young writers that I could celebrate the work of, congratulations, you've met 5 new ones. So you can talk to them, inshallah, if you'd like to share their work. Speaking of their book, I had a conversation with Mustafa, and very much so what we would like to do is leave copies of the book with the school. And if you would like to potentially get those copies of the book, you can contact the school here, and also the schools, inshallah. Mustafa and I's intention is to share them with similar principals, some of which were present today, to all the young writers who went to schools in the local community. You can contact their schools if you would like to get copies. In the meantime, if you have Story Factory questions, our website is at the bottom of our banner. I can also hand out my card if you want to chat. I love writing a lot, but I love supporting young writers more than I love writing. So if you want to talk to me about future programs, inshallah, let me know. There's probably heaps of people I haven't thanked, but mainly I just want to say thank you to you girls. And to the ones who couldn't come here today, make sure you say thanks to them too. You're all incredible. I'm sure we're going to work together again. And thank you all for spending the time to be here to celebrate all their writing. That's it. Jazakallah khairan. And my absolute honor as a way of properly launching this book to welcome our first author to the page and to the stage. She's reading from page 1 of this collection, Inside Our Thoughts. Please give a round of applause for Aisha Labour.
Erica walks down the road. Wow, it's so sunny, she says to Emily. Emily agrees, but Emily never actually says anything because she is mute. The road is empty, thin as air. Erica is at school with Emily, but when they enter the classroom, everyone is...
Absolute favourite things about that line in the first paragraph is she has a description of something being thin as air. And we think of Aisha, to put you on the spot, as one of our youngest writers in year 6, holding her own against some of our high school writers is really fantastic. Please give her another round of applause. All right, we're going in order and we're going to welcome our second reader to the stage. Can we please get a drum roll as I welcome them? You can and a big round of applause for Aisha.
The sun rises and shines right on top of my face. I wake up and get ready for school. My eyelids feeling like they weigh 1,000 kgs finally open to let me see the wretched day in front of me. I open my dusty wooden cupboard and grab my uniform. I get in Emily's 57-year-old red car as I think in my head, another day of solitary confinement, even though you're surrounded by miserable people. Every day is the same. Maths, English, science, more maths, more English, and then there's history, geography, and so on for another 3 hours until the end of the day, where you feel like you're on your deathbed, waiting for the best reward, death itself.
I feel like Aisha has described every Monday morning for me with eyelids weighing 1,000 kilograms. Really fantastic work. Nice work. We are potentially going to welcome one more short reading to the stage before we wrap up. Before I do that, I'm going to give Mustafa an opportunity to think about what is it that we want to say to everyone today for the best way to get copies of this book. Because I know you have such a generous heart and you probably just want to hand them out to everyone, which I'm completely fine with. If we have opportunities for people to purchase the book as well, let us know. You can see we're very community focused here. We're like, I don't know, I guess just take the book home because we like it, but we'll see if we have opportunities to sell it as well, inshallah. All right, I'm very excited to welcome to the stage our third and possibly final reader, seeing how we go. Please give a round of applause to Mariam Ahmed.
So the context of my story is that it's a historical fiction narrative about a Palestinian girl who is the sole survivor of an attack on her village. I gazed at the freshly dug graves in front of me. I glanced at the other recent graves. Tears blurred my vision as I realized that I was the only one left in my family. I was the sole survivor from a great lineage. The burden of remembering traditions, stories, and people was on me alone. Sudden anger enveloped me. Anger at the invaders who ravaged my homeland. Anger at the rest of the world who did not do anything about us and kept quiet as they watched millions of lives extinguished right before their eyes. Anger at my family for leaving me alone and making me bear the responsibility of keeping the memories of our family.
I would actually like to, since I have come back to the podium, actually like to thank Mrs. El Mazri once again from the bottom of our heart. Jazakallah khair for donating those books to us, and I'm sure our students will definitely enjoy reading those books and will be inspired by it as well. And brothers and sisters who are present here, and obviously, you are all, mashallah, coming from educated, well background. As the principal of the school, I welcome you all. If you have any ideas, any suggestions in which our school children can benefit, can be part of the organization, can be doing things great, amazing things like that, please get in touch with me, and I will be happy to help out as much as I can. And once again, on behalf of Story Factory and AICS, we thank you so much for taking your precious time out and being present here. Jazakallah khair.